Hello. Checking the camera out. Technicalities galore here. It's a cold winter day, so you have to give the old boy a little bit of patience. Is it ever cold? And I imagine it's just as cold where you are. Northern hemisphere anyway. Hey, Beattie here. Dinosaur news. Eyeballs glancing from spot to spot. Till we get to the spring, as I said, we'll have to have the cluttered end of the studio. Hey, Dinosaur news. Brought to you by the British People's League. This Friday the 13th. What better day to bring at you than Friday the 13th? Patriots get bogged down a lot with a bit of sorrow and gloom. So why not bring a cheerful message on Friday the 13th? I think my face right now is from an old book I got years ago called The Mask of Sanity. We keep on this mask of sanity in this multicultural hellhole that's spreading throughout the Western world. But anyway, how are you today? The heat is somewhat down in the house, and I'm sure there's a lot of seniors in the same boat. You got to keep the heat down. I actually left the furnace on overnight last night as it was below. Now, I just talk Fahrenheit, okay? I'm a dinosaur. But it was way below Fahrenheit, so I didn't want the pipes to freeze. But boy, it gobbles up the oil. Cry me a river, isn't that the way the song goes? How are you, folks? John Beattie here. Nearly popped my front tooth, I got so excited. Okay, we're into this in a minute, and I haven't said anything feasible or worthwhile yet. Just getting warmed up. For the speeching, that is. It's bloody cold in here. I don't want to put the space heaters on my feet on. You'd hear the hum, hum, hum. We want you to hear clearly the great, glorious voice. Yours truly, John Beattie, International Director of the British People's League. It was quite a lull for a while, and I don't do it to be a smartass, but I just don't do these videos as often if there's no response. But in the last few days, we've had good response. Had a donation, and we've had some mail, and a couple of phone calls from old contacts. So out of the blue, so it shows we're still alive and kicking, and we're renewing ourselves. British People's League. And I have to thank our friends at Candor. I had a sheet I told them I was going to read out of their latest action. They've got a lot on their plate, really exciting news. So click into Candor in the motherland, C-A-N-D-O-U-R, candor.org.uk. They've got a lot on their plate and well worth waiting for some of it. And their news bulletin magazine format comes out regular now. So those who subscribe, I'm sure you're looking forward to the next edition. Candor.org.uk. And speaking of Candor again, two recent correspondence papers, both of them who read the ad that Candor give us in their magazine. We sort of barter for plugs. And both the ads. BPL, a big hello. This is from Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire, England. A big hello after seeing your advert in Candor. Is it possible sending me any information you may have? Looking forward to hearing from you. Keep up the important work. Hail Canada. All the best. And of course, these are hitting at the time when yours truly hasn't got an inker in. I've got a great big printer, so the inker, as you savvy printer types know, the bigger the inker, the more expensive the ink, so we'll have to wait a bit. But I suppose these folks are on the internet. And the other mentions Candor as well. So the ad, Candor people, I thank you. It's getting around. Dear Sir, Madam, I came across your address via Candor magazine, which a friend of mine gets. I've enclosed some Ulster Scots booklets, etc. for you to read. Yeah, there's some booklets on Ulster Canadians too, Scottish Canadians who helped found and set up Canada and the history here. If you'd like further copies, let me know and I'll send you them. If the British People's League do any papers or leaflets, if you send me a few copies, I'll pass them on to local people for Race and Nation. This comes from Portadown, County Armagh, the good old Ulster. Signed for Race and Nation with the name. So there you have it. Just when I go up and down with these videos, I know. Some days I try and sound like Tarzan, and other days I sound as if I'm sitting in a library half asleep. But I reckon with some groups in the motherland are fading away, or there's so much infighting, I don't know, and perhaps that's why others are looking at the British People's League as a form of patriotism, along with our partners in patriotism in the motherland, Candor. It's one thing to have a lot of groups, but some of them are superfluous, point blank. It's tricky for me to say the right thing on the matter. One intellectual group that stirs up patriotism in this boy, you might check them out, Western Spring. Western Spring, I'm not sure the email, just check out Western Spring UK. They're pretty good. Okay, what else have we got to yak about today? The renewed spirit. And even on our Facebook, it's under the name of John Beattie rather than British People's League. But it's approachable through our homepage. And on the Facebook, even there, you know, we get some people clicking the like buttons, and it keeps this boy spirited. But as I say, all of a sudden there is some interest. Well, there better be some interest, folks? Without going into the usual tirade, but the multicultural octopus is grabbing us all in Britain and Canada, New Zealand, Australia, you name it. But there's the fight back. There's the fight back. Notice I'm not mentioning America. Almost nervous to mention white patriots in America. They have some wild blogs. So I'll leave it to your imagination. You can check out. But they have some wild blogs, and then on TalkShoe, self-radio type of thing. And there's some pretty wild blogs. But, hey, guess what? We're in the Wild West again. Thanks due to the crooked, treasonous, creep politicians. You know, if you look on the House of Commons channel in Britain or here in Canada, you can follow the House of Commons question periods. And during those question periods, have a look at the faces of some of the members of Parliament. Artificial zombies. Artificial zombies. That covers A to Z. Just pathetic. I have to admit, in spite of things I don't like, I like Harper, the Prime Minister of Canada. With political correctness out there as a monster, it's pretty hard to have any wiggle room, and I think he's doing the best he can. He has a few decent types with him. And I think we're lucky to have him compared to what could be just around the corner with Trudeau's son getting set to run for election. I guess we'll be having an election in 2015. I think Britain's election is 2015 as well, so it's going to be an interesting year. Or Britain might be 2016. But we're still here, and we will keep the procedure, though. if there are no donations come in, and it doesn't matter the size, just to show interest. No donations equal no shows. I'm not a pouty little boy, but that's the way it is. One of our good types in a village south here said, well, you got to give people something if they're going to donate. Well, what are you giving them, John? Well, how about entertainment? Free entertainment. They say, well, you can get that anywhere else. But you know what I'm getting at, folks. I mean, just signs of appreciation that there are people out there who do care about the British People's League, friends of the British People's League. And then there's always the optimistic thought that perhaps people are geared into our editorial where we talk about forming three-person cells, legal cells, just as the underground in the Second World War, to fight the Axis invasion. Well, now it's a brown Axis that is falling on us. The underground cells are legal in defense of our homelands, and we must keep them legal. We don't want to be dragged off to the dungeons. So then why have a cell structure at all, John? Well, with the news media vultures, look what they tried to do to me when I ran for Deputy Reeve in the Little Wee Village Council up here in Cottage Country, Ontario, Haliburton Highlands. But they hit a brick wall. They thought they'd make me pack it in and withdraw the nomination. And the nomination and the running simply gave me an air of respectability that the media bosses couldn't stomach, and they attacked me from every angle. But it's just like water off a duck's back with this boy. They just made fools of themselves. They got caught up in their own lies. But that's why I'm saying about a cell structure. You know, most of you out there, a regular job, or you're retired seniors, and you don't need that kind of stress on you. So clink glasses or teacups or coffee mugs, whatever, with two of your pals. There's three of you. You then become a cell. And yes, a secret cell, a secret legal cell. The reason to keep it secret and the reason to make it a cell, as I just said, to avoid the ignorant, multicultural news media. So they box us into a corner, and the corner is going to boomerang on them because the cell structures. And that's why it's funny, since we've had that editorial, it's almost as if some have disappeared. Maybe they're doing legal activity that we don't even know about. But the cell structure is the way to go, that's for sure. I'm out in the front as a spokesperson, proud to do so, when the interest is shown. If there's no interest shown, then I just go on strike for a while. Unions had their place, didn't they? They still have their place, though. Let's face it, even though they're overdone, there are those who would have 12-year-olds working in the mines. A lot of the invaders from the Third World, they still have slavery, treat their women as dogs. Actually, we treat our dogs better, our pets better than women are treated in many African countries, in many Asian countries. So you're tuned into the show. You know the score. You know the mess we're in. But underground cells is the way to go. And you have your little get-togethers quietly at home as you have in the past with your friends. But now you're discussing ways that you can help the British People's League by drawing attention to these dinosaur videos would be one way, because frankly the videos undercut any smear stories they can make about yours truly, John Beattie. I mean, just tune into the past videos. Where's the monster? He's just a cheerful old guy trying to look after our people, our tribe, our Anglo-Saxons, our Anglo-Celts, along with our European cousins, Icelandic, Scandinavian cousins. We're all in this together. Sure, we can keep our separate identities, obviously, but we do have to join hands to stop the invasion by the multicult mobs, all created complements of your corporate structure. your corporation structure. What can you do about it on a day-to-day basis when you shop tangerines at the local store from Morocco? How can you shop and get homegrown products? It's pretty hard. You could try and try. There's very few homegrown products, that's for sure. But we just have to do the best with the tools that we have. We just have to do the best with the tools that we have. And when we have our get-together of friends of the British People's League up here in Cottage Country, we're always bouncing back and forth the tennis ball. What would be better, picketing and protest to stop the immigration? Do these YouTubes help? Or do we have in-person get-togethers? And we always seem to come to the conclusion that in home, in apartment, in bungalows, in your own homes, in your condos, that's where to have your get-togethers, not meetings. Oh, the word meetings, soon be outlawed. You're having casual get-togethers with friends of the British People's League. And you could print up some posters, surely. Some stickers anonymously can be distributed, just advertising these videos. Just put on the sticker, Dinosaur News, John Beattie, or BritishPeoplesLeague.com. BritishPeoplesLeague.com. Well, you get the drift. So there's a project for you, is to get some flyers out. If you don't want to do it in your direct neighborhood, then pick a neighborhood close by. Getting these videos known. There are people who know the score. They're fed up with multiculturalism, but they want a solid, functioning, operational, motivational situation to latch onto as a friend. And that's what we, the British People's League, offer. We're not going to put our friends on video, on camera, and have them put on the spot at their workplace at the lunch hour and so on and so forth. It just takes one negative. But there are the positives out there. As one good liker on Facebook said, we say what others think. We're saying it out loud, and proud to do so. Well, we've still got a couple of minutes. I don't want to sound like an ad-libbing as such. So we covered the letters. We got our good friends Candor, once again, candor.org.uk. A question I'd like someone from the League of the South. I promote them on these shows, leagueofthesouth.com, leagueofthesouth.com in the Confederacy in America, and I really plug them, but I'm a bit confused by this little black symbol they've chosen at their demonstrations. I sort of suspect it's so they won't be labeled as just another Confederate group, but a little black smudge of a symbol. I'm really saddened to see such a silly symbol. So perhaps one of my friends with the League of the South could explain it to me so I can put it to the viewers on a future video here. So I'm pleased that I got this done today. It's the coldest last night that it's been all winter. Just keep the spirits up, folks, whether you're in Britain, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Northern Ireland, even our friends in Ireland. We get the odd little click in. Australia, New Zealand. We're there for you. We're here for you. You're there for us. And together, we are going to make a difference. By jingo, by golly gee. I don't want to sound corny and ridiculous, but I'm just trying to be casual. Casual but serious. If we don't make it, who's going to? Okay, so I'm looking for the little button that says to stop. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be at you the next time, and you know when that will be. It's up to you. God save the Queen.